Because the question always is, how do you want to progress in your career? And the question never is, how do you want to progress as a human being and learn more about yourself and who you are? Have you ever felt this pressure? Like, I feel like you feel this pressure around this area, like the chest area. You feel this pressure because you feel like you always have to have something to show for. And what I mean by that is like having something to show for in the external world, like maybe like an external accomplishment or achievement to make you feel value within. Because I feel like that's how people judge you. People judge you by your external accomplishments. And so you go out into the world and you get that university degree, or you try to get that prestigious job, and you think that in this pursuit of external things that there's going to be a point where you reach a sigh of relief, where you're finally going to be like, finally I'm here, I've arrived and I'm enough. But then what you find is that there's no end to it. And I'm not making this video just for me to sit down and call you out, but I can say that I've went through this path and I'm still going through it. So for a decade I studied and worked in engineering, and this is something which I didn't really 100% enjoy, something which didn't really resonate with me. And the reason for that was because I wanted to impress my parents. And I thought that that's what was going to impress the outer world, because whenever I told people, friends, relatives that I was studying engineering, they were always like, oh, you must be so smart. And then that was just feeding my ego. I was just thinking that I had a sense of value because of it. But then why is it that after graduating and after getting a nice engineering job that I still didn't feel full within my soul? I felt that none of that led to fulfillment, and my search just led me returning to myself. And I feel like if you're in this trap of always trying to accomplish things and get things in the external world to make you feel value, but then it is no longer quenching your thirst, I think the next place is to try to find value within. If you can't find value in the external world, I think the next place to turn is to look for value within. Because I think this is what is missing. And so I want to bring up a story as well. So during my time in working in engineering, I always saw the people around me excelling. They'd be putting in the extra hours, or they'll be upskilling by studying extra courses. And then, people would always ask me, where do you want to go? How do you want to progress in your career? And I always felt bad not having an answer for that. Because the question always is, how do you want to progress in your career? And the question never is, how do you want to progress as a human being and learn more about yourself and who you are? And I know obviously this is like a corporate environment and that is not a topic that is usually discussed. However, I think that we have been conditioned to not ask ourselves this question. And I think that is the most dangerous thing, because that's how we find ourselves lost in life. Always trying to search for value in the outside world and not turning within and finding value within ourselves. And I know I'm sounding like a hippie, but I do believe that when we truly find value within ourselves, then we can bring that out and create value around us. And I think that is a much more efficient way than trying to just go and get value from the external world. I think we find value from within and we bring it out and we share it with the world. And I think that is a better way of living life. I know it sounds so intangible, but I believe, as the Kabbalion states, as within, so without. As you bring value within, you're going to get it returned to you in the external world. It will materialize. And I know this is such a woo-woo, crazy spiritual belief, but that's what I truly believe to be the case. I truly believe that as you heal yourself, as you do the inner work, the value is going to be reflected to you in the external world. Now I want to share a story. It's called The Acres of Diamond Story by Russell Conwell, and I might butcher the story, but this is how it goes. So essentially there's this farmer, right? He hears that other farmers are going off in search of this mythical acre of diamonds. And so he decides to do the same thing. He ends up selling all of his land to go search in the African continent for this mythical acres of diamonds. Now the new owner of the land, one day he was just exploring and he came across a riverbed on the land he just bought. And he found this massive rock, like this massive shiny rock, and he ended up bringing it to his home. And later that night he ended up having a guest come over, and the guest saw this rock placed on his table, and his guest was absolutely amazed, and he was like, where the hell did you find that? This is one of, or probably the biggest diamond that the world has ever seen. And the farmer thought he was talking shit. He was like, what do you mean? Like, are you serious? And the guest was like, yeah, this is the biggest diamond which I've ever seen. And the new owner was like, really? I've got a river full of rocks similar to this, although they're not as big, but they're generously scattered across the river. So essentially the farmer who initially owned the land went off in search for treasures out in the world, without first looking to see if he already had treasure within the land that he owned. So similarly, we tend to look first to the outside world for value, without first looking for value within ourselves. So what is the moral of this story? Or what is the moral of this video? What am I trying to convey? What I'm trying to convey is that I want this video to be your sign that it's okay to have this season in your life where you spend it mostly doing the inner work, spending your time in solitude, spending time with yourself and getting to know yourself, whether it's through journaling or whether it's through getting a therapist. I do think that at the end of the day, this is what's going to give you more of the feeling of success which you are after. It is through within. The only way out is in. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys resonated with it. And as always, see you guys in the next video. Peace.